This is Jay with Sugar Hill Sway. Dig this super intro, man. Alright, good morning everybody. We are leaving the gym, heading to another one, but this one's close to home, so I think I'll be in good shape there. Leaving this one down here in Atmore and going to one, like I said, it's close to home. Looks like Atmore's finally decided to start, well, I take that back. I thought they was taking the Christmas decorations down, but I was wrong. I tell you, I believe that if you're ever starving for some entertainment, go to a these bumper stickers. These people with bumper stickers, some of the things are funny. Anyway, if you're ever starving for entertainment, go and especially if you're out of town and you're in a hotel room, always request the room right there at the elevator. Some of the things that you hear people talk about when they come off that elevator will shock you. The one that I stayed at last night, or was it last night or night before last? I can't remember. Anyway, I was staying at the room right there next to the elevator. Well, people, I guess they don't realize that their volume is up. Their voice volume is way up. Because I heard them while they were still on the elevator. Because I could hear them, and then I heard ding, ding, and then I went, and I could hear them even clearer. And they were giving, these two women is what they were. They were two women. And they were giving each other, down the ever-loving road about who stunk the worst. One of them told the other one that she needed to take a bath because she stank. She said, no, you can't hold a candle to me because you stink a lot worse. I thought I was going to have to go outside and bust up a brouhaha, But they were talking about how bad each other smelled, and they were giving each other down the road. Just about as, loud and vulgar as they can be about how much the other one stank. You stink. No, you can't hold a candle to me because you're the one that stinks. Blah, 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 you blah, blankety, blank, blank, blank. I'll kick your blankety, blanky, stinking, blankety, blank. Just my gosh. Talking about how each other stank. And you can hear them all down the hallway whenever they was walking back to the room. You can hear them all down the hallway. I assume that they knew each other. I heard them both walking, or I heard them both hollering at each other as they was walking down the hall. So if they didn't know each other and they wasn't staying in the same room, they were staying awfully close. But it was funny. Oh man, you'd just be amazed at some of the crap that you hear. Talking about how each other stank. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they were doing there at the hotel. But one of them stank and the other stank even worse. the good things is I don't see as much cotton still out in the field. I don't think I've passed a field of unpicked cotton maybe once yesterday, and I hadn't seen any today. Still some rolls out there, but not that many, which is good, which means a lot of those cotton modules are actually getting onto the gin yard. Hadn't seen as many module trucks run up and down the road. So I mean, maybe that's a good sign. I've got several cotton gins that are already closed, but they've ginned all they're gonna gin. There's a bad little curve right here. This little place in between Enterprise, Alabama and Opp, Alabama, there's a little community called I-Know. I-N-O, that's how it's spelled. And there's a bad curve right there, but that curve's not as bad as this curve. That curve that I just come around, I'm heading, where am I heading? West. That little curve back there is kind of bad, but it's just a curve. There's another curve up here that goes back the same way. I mean, it goes the opposite way. It's the same kind of curve, but there's an intersection in that curve, and that's what makes it so dangerous, because people, if you're not used to it, you come up on that curve and you think the road really goes straight. Well, that doesn't. It's an intersection. It actually curves around, and right there in that intersection, right there in that curve, there's an intersection. And I know there's a lot of wrecks right there too. And I know what people do when they come around. They don't really realize that the road curves. They think it goes straight, and once they realize it, it's too late, and then they try to make the curve anyway. So it's kind of dangerous. But if you're ever in the community of I-Know, there's a nice church right here at that intersection too. But if you're ever at that intersection, there's something to keep in mind, because like I said, there's a bunch of wrecks. Seems like 4 or 5 times a year you hear of a bad wreck right here at this intersection. So, but it's a big old nice church, and like I said, if you're used to it, it ain't that big of a deal, because you know the curve is there. But folks that don't know that about the curve, and there's 2 roads intersecting right there in that curve, and it's just not. It's kind of dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But anyway, hopefully this gin season will start to wind down within another week or so. I got some still running wide open, but like I said, I don't really see much cotton in the field anymore. Of course, down here, nobody really gets in a major hurry ginning cotton. Some of them want to get started early so they can finish early, but a lot of them just kind of start when they want to and kind of finish when they want to. But maybe it's starting to wind down. I hope so. It hadn't wound down for me. I'm still on the road. So, but anyway, we'll see. Into Florida. I noticed some shrubbery and all that stuff around it, around that sign. I got a funny little story goes that sign back there. I'll tell y'all next stop I made. I'm almost here at the gin. This little gin is, literally just south of the Florida line. Alright, y'all, here's the story with the sign. The sign, right as you're coming into Florida, this gin is right here, not a mile south of the Florida line. So it was one year, I don't know, I don't think it was last year, I think it was a couple of years ago or 3 years ago or whatever. They just had the sign up, didn't have any kind of, landscaping done around it or anything. just had the sign up. Well, it was the first day when we work in the off season. We're generally at a gym for 3, 4, 5 days, just depending on how bad off the machine. My dang gum. How bad the machine is. Well, the first day that I was coming down to this gym, we drove by the sign, and everything, and there was a dead deer right there at the base of the sign. It was just, which ain't unusual. I see dead deer on the side of the road all the time. That's another thing. We need to. I wish I knew. I ain't gonna get off on that. Anyway, there was a dead deer right there at the bottom of the sign, at the base of the sign, where the spikes go in, where the poles go in. The next day, I'm driving to the gym, and there's a little landscaping crew out there. And the landscaping crew is out there, prettying up right there around the sign. Y'all saw the shrubbery and the nice pretty flowers they got around there and everything. But the deer was still there. So they were out there working, and they just had it kind of pulled off to the side. And the next day I drove by, they were done. I didn't see anybody there. And right there at the base of where they was doing the landscaping, which was right there at the base of the sign, there's the deer. All 4 legs sticking straight out. Like that. Like he was fitting to take off and fly. They didn't move the deer. They didn't drag it off into the woods that's kind of close by. They didn't drag it off into the ditch down there. They put it right there at the base of the sign so everybody could see the dead deer. Like this. Dang. Alright, y'all, it's Friday. I'm going home. Well, yeah, I'm not dreaming. I'm going home. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be good. Although I got to still do some work when I get home. There's a little gym right close to my house. It ain't very far. I got to stop by there before I can go home. But at least I'll be at home. Hopefully it'll be quiet the rest of this weekend and next week. I think things are starting to wind down a little bit, but we'll see how everything goes. Oh, the rough bridge kill you. I'm just driving along here, and I would be very interested to know, and I may check, there may be an online resource for this, but I would be very interested to know what the deer population is here in Alabama. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like, in other states. But, man, here in Alabama, it's hard to ride up and down the road without seeing 3 or 4 deer dead on the side of the road because some vehicle has hit them. I've seen 3 this morning. I've been driving maybe an hour. I mean, it don't matter if it's a country road, interstate. There was one tore all to bits on the interstate, and I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's just too many deer. If we got more deer than normal, or their behavior has changed over the years. I don't remember seeing this many deer dead on the side of the road. I mean, and you ride up and down the road, especially at night. You better be looking on both sides of the road. They'll be right there at the shoulder on the interstate grazing. I've seen them in the median grazing, which means they're crossing that road. I don't know if it's just, I don't deer hunt myself, so, excuse me, I don't know, I really don't have a clue as to what the deal is, but man, I've hit 2 in my lifetime. I've had one that I hit one night that was crossing a 4-lane road. And then I had one, I saw about 8 of them, 8 or 10 of them, in the middle of the road underneath the street light. So I was a quarter of a mile away, so I saw them in plenty of time, and it was early in the morning, it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I pulled up, and stopped. I mean, I was completely stopped a good 30 or 40 yards from them. They saw me and started running off. And one of them just runs into the side of my truck. His head butts the side of my truck. It was a little Nissan Frontier, and I was able to take put a big old dent in it. And I was able to take the inside of the door off and pop that dent back out, but you could still tell, I can still tell it today. He just run into the side like a fool. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like I said, I don't know if it's just too many deer. The population is really exploded, or if this is the behavior. They just, I don't know enough about it. I do know that you really, really got to be careful. And when you see somebody, like when we get together and visit as a family or something, and we're going back home and it's nighttime, the last thing you tell somebody is be careful and watch for deer. Because they do, I mean, and they'll tear up the vehicle now. I mean, they'll tear one up. I hit one, that one that I hit head on that time, it set off every airbag in the truck. It was a big old Chevrolet Silverado, and it set off every airbag in the truck when I hit that thing. It looked like I was in the shower. I had to peel airbags up to look out the window. You couldn't drive it. It's just a mess. I may check into that. If anybody knows or has any inkling, comment down in the comment section below, because I don't know. Look, there's another one right there. That's the fourth one I've seen this morning. It's a mess. It's dangerous is what it is. You hear all kinds of stories about people having wrecks because they're either trying to avoid a deer, or they hit a deer and it throws them off the road, or some kind of crap. And it's dangerous. You really got to look out for deer. But I'm going to check and see. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me just to see. All right, y'all. I'm going to walk down here before it gets too dark. That game camera I had set up down here, finally got it to where I want it. Finally got it to where I want it. So now I'm gonna pull it off, and if the weather holds out, it's supposed to be bad weather down here tomorrow. If the weather holds out, I may carry it down there and put it down there at the creek. I got a little small branch running back there behind, probably, I don't know, a couple of 100 yards back down that way. Actually, it's further than that. It's a good little bit. But anyway, I'm gonna walk down here and get this camera, and oh, if I don't break my neck, walk down here and get this camera, and if it turns out to be pretty decent in the morning, I may carry it back down there in the morning, put it down there, because I've always seen some action right there. Of course, you're gonna see it right there next to a branch, and right there where it is, there's a crossing right there. I seen a big old coon down there a couple years ago. That thing had to weigh, well, I don't know how big, I don't know how much a coon weighs, but it was big and fat. I mean, it was fat. In fact, when I first saw it, I thought it was a dog, until I seen their ring tail, and I knew it was either that or a lemur. One of those. So anyway, we're gonna come down here, we're gonna get this camera, check it out, and see if we got anything. And again, if I find anything that's worth looking at, I'll try to figure out a way to put it up. And we'll kind of go from there. I gotta see, I ain't got my glasses on. These are sunglasses. You can't see because it's dark. I don't know what that was. I just spooked the fool out of something. But anyway, we're gonna see what's on here. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not a real big fan of this one. I had a couple of stealth cams, and those are the ones that got messed up because I left them out too long. This is a Tasco, and it's a cheaper model. I know it's not the high dollar model. It's easy. It's real easy to set up. It's easier. It's probably one of the easiest ones to actually set up that I've ever had. But whenever you go to get one, you kind of want to see
You kind of want to see what you got, or how many videos you got, or how many pictures you got. And this one doesn't tell you. It just tells you if it's movies or pictures. I mean, it doesn't tell you how many movies you got. I got mine set up for video. For I think it's 15-second video. That's what I got it for. But it's small enough. I like the size. I mean, it's not very big and bulky, which means you can put it in a bunch of different places. I mean, look, it's about the size of my hand. I mean, it's not very big at all. But it's a Tasco, and you know, when it comes to these cameras, you kind of get what you pay for. If you spend a lot of money on one, you're gonna get one that just about, you know, have 1080 HD, 4K, ultra, super duper bad kind of video. Whereas you get this one, which is like, I think I got this in at Walmart for like 30, 40 bucks or something like that. I had those stealth cams and I liked the video on them because they were really, 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 really good. They were just kind of a booger bear to set up, but once you got them set up, you didn't have to worry about them anymore. But you know, this one was just the opposite. It's real easy to set up. I really didn't get a good look at the video quality from the last ones that I had because I did have it set up too high. But daggum squirrel, I didn't bring a rifle with me or anything. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Rat. Boy, if he's screaming tomorrow, oh man, I'm gonna bust that tail. I ain't never in my life. I had to end that last segment kind of quick. That was my wife calling me on the phone. You better answer it when she calls you. I'm telling, she had some good news. She was bringing home some supper and some cheesecake. It's on like Donkey Kong right now, buddy. You scarf down that there Mexican food just to coat your belly with some cheesecake. Anyway, we gotta see what we got on here. I said tomorrow if I hear that sucker squealing, they wait. See, that's where I was going with this. Whenever I get down here, you don't hear them. I heard something back there. Anyway, you don't hear them until they see you. And they know you ain't got no rifle with you, and they know you ain't got no gun. And then they go to screaming just to plague me. They plaguing me, that's what they're doing, they plaguing me. They're plaguing me. Taunting me. It's all right. It's all right, we'll get them. Anyway, I still got some work to do. I want to come get this before it got dark. I better shut up too. See that guy right there behind me there? There's a shooting house. Deer hunters got a shooting house back there. And I may be talking too loud. Right there. It's not on my land, it's across the street, across the road anyway. I keep hearing something back here. Bigfoot, is that you? Littlefoot? Sasquatch? Sacagawea? It's gonna lead Lewis and Clark over the Continental Divide. All right, let's go. I'm through fooling around. Okay, I know I promised y'all that we'd look at the trail camera, and we're fixing to do that here in just a minute. Got a couple little surprises, and got one kind of neat surprise that was on there. We got, of course, we got like 3 deer on there, and I think they're the same 3 deer I've seen up in my front yard all the time. It's more like a mama and 2 young ones. They both of the young ones have got to be at least a year old. The But that's, you always see them in threes, and it's always three of them. I mean, three, looks like three does is what it looks like. Of course, you saw an armadillo. Trying to think of what it, oh, one of the surprises was a rabbit. I hadn't seen many rabbits around here this year. But we had quite a few little videos of a rabbit. I'll show you one of those too. And one of them, I swear, I could be wrong because it's kind of small, but it looks like a bobcat. If you look at his face, you see that bobcat face, and of course the bobtail. But it is kind of small. It doesn't seem like it's very big. So if it is a bobcat, it's a small. It's a young one, and he wasn't scared of any kind of light. He just walked right by the light and of the camera and just kept on tracking. But I'll show that to you here in just a minute. All right. Kind of looks like a bobcat to me. Okay, y'all, we're at the end of another week. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like I said, the trail camera videos that you saw, one of them was, or two or three of them was with that little rabbit, and I think that was pretty much over just like a 2-night span. I don't think he had come back since then. The only reason I put it in there is just because I haven't seen very many rabbits, and the armadillo is the same way. I've seen a lot of possums, seen a lot of coons this year on the side of the road, but I shouldn't say I never have. I just haven't seen as many armadillos this go around as I normally do. I've seen a few, but not as many as you normally do. Usually you see one dead about every other mile, about every 2 miles you'll see one dead. But just haven't seen that many armadillos. Now I might not be, might not be looking for them that well, but I just haven't seen that many of them. The deer, those 3 deer that I was telling you about, the first one come up there and she was more intrigued about the little light, the little flashlight that comes on at night. And she come up there and sniffed up my camera and fogged it all up and everything. So, but I put the second video in there just so you could see the 3 deer. It looked like a mama and two babies. Or no, they're not babies anymore. But I've seen those same 3 up in front of my house, which is probably 200 yards away from where this camera is. It's right there at the wood. It's right there at the wood line, and like I said, there's a trail that comes in and out of there. And I'm sure that's probably where the rabbits come from. Rabbits probably got a den down there. If I ever go to walking down through there, once it cools off a little bit, I'll go to walking down there, and I'll just kind of show you what kind of overgrowth there is down there. It's perfect for rabbits, really. Like I said, I hadn't seen many rabbits. I haven't seen enough rabbits to go rabbit hunting. And then, of course, the Those deer, like I said, I've seen them, those same three. It's got to be the same three because it's a mama and two babies, and of course I got the video of the mama and the two babies right there. I come in sometimes at night and I'll shine my light down there in front of the house, and I'll be able to see those deer, see those eyes, and sometimes they get spooked and run off, sometimes they don't. And then of course the bobcat. Now, if it's a bobcat, it's not a very big bobcat. But just by looking at it walking and looking at its face, and you know, bobcat usually has whiskers on the side. I mean, not whiskers, but they kind of look like mutton chops on the side. This one kind of looks like it does too. But if it is a bobcat, it's not a very big one. It can't be no more than 1.5 feet tall. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. We'll be back next week. Might have a little surprise for you next week. We got something special cooking up this week, so we're gonna try to go for that, and we'll see how that does. And I hope y'all liked the video. If y'all liked it, don't forget to subscribe. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's free. All it does is basically just kind of helps it easier for you to, or makes it easier for you to find the videos. And if you click the little bell on the side right next to the subscribe button, every time I post a video, it'll come up and let you know, hey, Jay posted a video. All right. Leave me some comments down there in the comment section if you think that's a bobcat or not. Sure got the bobtail. Sure kind of looks like one. All right. Until next Monday, I appreciate it. That's all I got. Thanks.